The FBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children estimates that at any one time, there are at least 500,000 pedophiles online, and they are on the exact same apps your children are on. They are sophisticated, they're intelligent, and they're relentless.
Let's talk about the actual dangers. Like, we've kind of hit on it a little bit throughout the week, but I know that you really know a lot about this. And again, as we talked about on Monday, you are an FBI special agent. Like, you really understand what it means to study these things and to research this world. So talk about what the actual dangers really are.
I give a talk that's called How to Protect Your Children Physically, Emotionally, and Spiritually in the Digital Age. And when I start that talk, I tell parents, this isn't going to be comfortable. This is going to be bothersome. It's going to be sickening in many respects. And that's one of the things I find, so often we talk about this ethereal dangers of the digital realm. Let me give you an example. The FBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children estimates that at any one time, there are at least 500,000 pedophiles online, and they are on the exact same apps your children are on. They are sophisticated, they're intelligent, and they're relentless, and they're hunting our children through those apps. So if that doesn't set the stage for what I'm talking about when there are dangers in the digital realm, not just ideological dangers, which are causing real casualties. Yeah. There is a exponential increase in the number of youth who are identifying as LGBTQIA+. Within that gamut, there are an exponential increase in the number of youth who are electing to have life-changing surgeries, as we all know, because of the ideologies that they're being fed and the positive energies. And then there are also youth who are already starting to state their regret for what they have done, adults have done to their bodies that is irreparable. And so there are real spiritual, physical, and emotional scars and casualties that are occurring because of the digital realm. And it's happening faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, it's really, really scary. Go through we very briefly touched on Disney, because you're not talking just about channels. You're not just talking about Disney or about YouTube or YouTube Kids, which I want you to talk about YouTube Kids specifically too, because you said that YouTube Kids is actually more dangerous than YouTube itself. Why is that? So it's not just those, it's not just Nickelodeon. I mean, all of these things that we have been trusted for so many years. You're also, I think, talking about apps, like phone apps that kids are playing games on and stuff. Can you kind of dissect those two different worlds for us and maybe even give us some very specifics on like these specific apps or things that are dangerous to your kids?
Well, I'll just start with your children should not be on social media. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, MySpace, for those of us who remember, they just are not ready for social media. Even the social media, let's talk about those apps themselves. We'll start there. Okay. Even the social media tycoons who are bringing this to us are saying that their own children aren't on social media. I tell parents, don't tell your children that you can't be on social media because the COPA, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, says you have to wait till you're 13. Tell them you shouldn't be on social media because it's not good for you. Because when we tell our children it's the law that prevents you, when they turn 13, then what stands in their way? They are not ready yet when they turn 13. The suicide rate for particularly females over the past 20 years, I think it's increased. It's somewhere like 30 to 40%, if it's not more. I don't have the slide in front of me.
Wow.
And young males are killing themselves as well because of the flood of impressionable content that's being put onto their minds and the pressure that they feel with that.
Yeah.
So there is almost, I don't recommend any social media for any youth. I understand as they start to turn 16, 17, 18, now there's a discussion about, let's find out how do you learn to use this, because you don't want them to be 19 and have had no guidance.
Yeah.
But those are very careful years because they're really entering a coliseum of ideas. So youth are being exposed to pornography. If you haven't heard, there is open pornography on YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, any of the social media accounts. There's pornography that your children can access. The median age for being exposed to pornography is now as low as 8 years old.
Wow.
And it often happens at school, either through the school systems or through a friend's phone, or through the child's own phone if you don't have that locked down.
Right.
You haven't worked to do something about it. So there's so much here to express, but you have to take your children off social media. There is no study that shows the benefit outweighs the risks. None. No studies. Okay, second, when we talk about so that was social media. So let's differentiate between passive intake, which is Disney, Netflix, where you're just kind of consuming passively, and then active engagement, which is your social media realms. We talked about social media. The ideology that's being slipped in at Netflix and at YouTube and at Disney and Nickelodeon, the LGBTQIA plus lifestyle. And I wrote an ebook about this called Poisoned Candy, because that's what it is. We don't realize how dangerous this is. And Blue's Clues, that's one I cover in my book. Blue's Clues, many of us remember it as being a very fun show for 3 to 4 year olds, 5-year-olds. I don't know if you know, but they had an animated drag parade show that talked about all the different types of families you could have. Wow. 2 mommies, 3 daddies. One of the otters that's animated in the back has like top surgery scars that are covered by little rainbow Band-Aids on the chest.
Wow.
Or non-binary babas is what they're called. And it's all couched in the song of the ants go marching one by one.
Oh, wow.
If you're listening to it, it doesn't sound evil at its outset. But as you realize what the messaging is, you have to be involved in what our children are watching.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked Podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.